So right now I'm in the process of degreasing everything, which is lower receiver, upper receiver, and anything that's going to be Duracoated. So I've got my nitrile chemical resistant gloves. They are latex free and powder free, so I don't get any of the powder if they were powder on the product. I've got some degreaser, some parts degreaser, so I'm going to spray that down. I'm going to wipe all this stuff down in order to leach the oils out of the air, upper and lower. So I'm going to do that, and then I will abrade, which means sand or bead blast the upper receivers and lower receivers, and they will be ready for Duracoat after that. So I plan on taking some time tomorrow to do the Duracoating. So that's it. It's a pretty simple process, and we'll move on from there. So I'm going to go through the process of Duracoating. I am ready to do that. As you can see, I have my sort of paint booth set up behind me. I got airflow, I've got my mask, I've got my glasses sitting over there. Make sure that you have, again, rubber gloves touching everything. You don't want to get grease all over. Another thing, if you have a existing AR that has Krylon paint or anything like that on it, get some acetone. The acetone will take that stuff right off. It's also a good cleaning agent, degreasing agent. So you will need that. First of all, as you saw in my other video, you want to degrease first, then you want to abrade, then you want to make sure you tape everything off, and then last you're going to Duracoat. One of the things that I used is they suggest like a Scotch Brite pad. This is 80 grit, so you want to scuff up your project. I would show you what that looks like right now, but I don't really want to dig into things right now. So anyway, just make sure that you properly scuff the surface of your AR up so that the Duracoat will actually bind. All right. My airbrush. This is my setup. It's a simple Harbor Freight airbrush. It is suction fed. I'm going to play with it to see how my stream comes out, and then I'll adjust from there. But it's got it's kind of cool. It's quick change. So all I got to do is pull this off, and I can move from one color to the next. It's also easy cleanup. I'm not going to have to worry about the internals of this gun because it is siphon fed. So we're going to see how this works. Looked at the reviews and it looked like it was okay, but basically you fill this up about 2/3 and you slap this in there and you can hear it work. So I'm going to use that for the airbrush. As far as the product itself, you've got your Duracoat. This is the royal blue. I think it'll probably dry a little darker, and I'm going to do some black today. Each container is about 25 bucks, I believe. Each container actually comes with the hardener. Okay, the ratio is 12:1. So if you're measuring in tablespoons to teaspoons, you're going to have 4 tablespoons of this and 1 teaspoon of the hardener, and that's a 12:1 ratio. And you can go by mils if you want. If you have syringes, that might be a great way to draw up your product and put it into those little canisters and shake it up good. So you want to make sure that even before I start this process, I'll be shaking this up for like 3 minutes. Then, if you're finding that your your Duracoat's not going through the airbrush very well, they do have a reducer. You can only use their reducer for their product. So I think this was like $6 or $6.50. The maximum is 20%, so you don't want to use above that 20%, or you're going to find yourself the Duracoat's not going to stick and it's going to be runny upon application. So you want to use less than 20% of full volume of what Duracoat you're spraying. So I'm only going to put a couple of drops in just to reduce a little bit, make sure that it's all stirred up and really well. A couple other things. I've got a couple of these little containers. I went to the dollar store and I picked these up for $1, and you get 10 of them for $1. And I'm able to mix other paints in here. So I'm going to put some white and black in here to get my gray, and I'll be able to put that in there, put the top back on, and shake that vigorously so I can mix those colors up. Teaspoons, tablespoons. Don't use your wife's. Good stuff. Go to the dollar store. You get a whole gamut of cups, tablespoons, teaspoons, and these are $1. If they get yucky, guess what? Chuck them. Buy some new ones for the next application. So there you go. Dollar store has a lot of stuff that you can use for this project. Again, make sure you have rubber gloves. Make sure that you have your acetone. You want to make sure that when you're done with a specific color, you want to clean your containers out so that you can continue to use your containers. And you can use acetone or any lacquer thinner. Hey, here's another creative hint. These are paper towel rolls, okay? I just put a slit in them and put it in the hand guard so I actually can hold it like this. Spray, 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 turn, spray, 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 turn, spray, 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 and then this is actually wire. Put right in there. I should have enough space to get my black down, and then all I have to do then is hang it on the hooks that I have in the rafters. So yeah, it's kind of a cool way to do it. Spray, spray. So get creative in what you are having to do with your project. So put that up in there a little bit more so it's a little steady. So there we go. That's ready to go. Use a vise to hold mags. I've got a Magpul magazine right there. I taped it off, scuffed it up, made sure that it was clean and degreased. And I'll just set that right down in the vise so it dries in there. And so just get kind of creative with the things you have sitting around the shop. So just a couple of hints for you. Alright, well that sucked. That cheap airbrush thing didn't work, so got this one instead. And I think it's just because the port on the thing was too small for the Duracoat to suck through. So I'm going with gravity fed, so we're going to see how this works. Stay tuned. Alright, well, it didn't come out too bad. It's hard to tell with black on black, but that's that. But this is the lower receiver. It came out pretty decent. And of course I've got the gray to spray yet, and I gotta wait for my template to get here. So yeah, it looks really good so far. Sorry, the light is kind of sucky, but it's looking good. Alright, so this is what we're looking at so far. The stencils are on. Just a bit of a tip for when you do that. Make sure that you're wearing rubber gloves. Make sure they're latex and powder free. That way you're not getting grease from your fingers back on your project for your final top coats. It's a tedious thing. The most difficult part probably is actually taking the web pieces completely off from the backing and applying it to your job. It can be a little bit frustrating, but thankfully these stencils actually came off pretty easy and they stick very well. So this is what it looks like. What I did is I had built a stand for my muzzle loader barrel. I was bluing a barrel for my muzzle loader, and so I built that little stand, and it's going to work perfect for my final spray. And then all I did is put dowels through the muzzle, tape it up so nothing got in there, and dowel through the back end, and then I tape the butt plate area so nothing got in there either. So basically it's a good view of what this thing will look like, and then all I got to do is sit there and twist it with the dowels to get my angles and to spray properly. So that's what it's looking like so far. It's I got to tell you what, the Duracoat is turning out fantastic. All right, guys, I did get this little thing to work. I found that if you adjust the intake nipple there and make sure that they're almost joined, you have to play with it a little bit, but this thing actually works pretty awesome. For 10 bucks at Harbor Freight, you can't go wrong. All right, so I have now sprayed my top coat for with the Kryptek Camo on it, and now I'm actually doing a base coat for my wife's, which will be, it'll blend from blue, or actually it'll blend from gray to blue, royal blue, back to gray, and it's going to have some black highlights in it, so it's going to look a little bit different than mine. So this is going to be pretty awesome. So yeah, so check it out. It does work really well. I'll show you how this thing throws some good streams. But all right, here's the finished product. Let me I'm going to see if I can shift this over so you can guys see a little better. But notice how I dusted in most of the gray areas and darkened up a little bit of the blue, so it's a little bit more what I call urban camo in Kryptek style. So that's mine. I'll flip to the other side. A lot of work going on today. Got my sons working on tables and whatever else. Alright, here's the other side. Again, all the light gray was dusted, so it looks sort of dirty. It turned out absolutely phenomenal. Alright, and let's go check out the white. Again, I did hers a little bit of a transition. If you notice, the Kryptek lines go from blue up here to gray, back to blue, down predominantly blue there, then it goes back to gray, and a little touch of blue at the end. So, and then and then it's mostly all black, and then I dusted the prominent grayed areas and and the blue areas. Anyway, let me see if I can just turn this over so you can see the black side, or the other side, excuse me. I actually did take a heat gun, and I applied heat to the entire thing to cure it a little bit faster. So it's actually dry right now, but I'm going to let it set for a couple hours, and then assembly begins. Man, I am impressed. It turned out excellent. And I don't know, I might have to do some more Duracoat projects. So there you go. I'll have a finished video at the end, or segment at the end, along with some pictures. Alright guys, so we have come to the end of this project, and I'm going to show you my AR9 first, so you get an idea of what it looks like now that it's complete and put together. And if you recall, this AR9 was actually sprayed a gray color. It was called cast iron, and so I took all the paint off. It was a VHT paint. Completely stripped that, rescuffed it, and so this is what it looks like now. Bring that closer up so you can see the Kryptek. You actually saw in the last segment of the video what that looked like up close, and so this is really no different, other than you're seeing it with all of the accessories on it. I went with the SB Tactical adjustable pistol brace. I was actually going to put that on the missus's gun, but guess what? I wanted it, so I took that and I gave her my SIG brace, which she seems to find very comfortable anyway. So the one thing I did have to switch up with mine is I had to put the Strike Industries charging handle on it. because for some reason the Blackhawk did not fit within the grooves very well, so I didn't want to modify anything. So I took the Strike Industries charging handle, which I have a couple of them and I love them. And the one other thing that I did take was the Caw Valley 9mm bolt carrier group. So that's what that looks like. And here is the wife's version of her AR9 pistol. Now this is a 12-inch. The one that I just showed you was a 10-inch. And so this is the 12-inch. That's what it looks like. It came out shockingly awesome. She was not impressed at all when it was sitting on the table with the stencils on it. She thought it would be way much more blue than what it is, but like I showed you before on the other video, it is toned down quite a bit. So hopefully you guys get a good perspective of what that looks like. It came out awesome. There's the charging handle for the Blackhawk, fits just fine on there. This is it's called ALD Labs bolt carrier group. This is the one that I had in my pistol for a couple months, and that thing runs flawless, and really like that. So I put it in her gun, and I actually just installed the Magpul bad lever on that, because she was used to shooting mine with the bad lever. So I went out and got that today and installed that on her pistol. And I'm going to do some reviews on some of these things. I talked a little bit on my first video about the Tacticon red dot, which is very similar to the Bushnell TRS-25. Very, very similar. It's a 2 MOA, and I think the Bushnell is a 3 MOA. So I'm going to do a review on this. We're going to see how this thing functions. I still have to get that definitely sighted in and ready to go, but I'm hoping to take her out with her pistol and see how it functionally works on the range. But this thing is pretty sweet. So again, her AR9 and my AR9. Love these things. They function awesome with the endo mags in them. And so stay tuned for some shooting time. I will probably get the wife out there some more to get some more range time in. So thanks for sticking around to the end of this project. I know this is more like a 15-minute video. I tried to keep it as short as possible. If you do have questions, make sure you leave them down in the comments. Make sure that you like, subscribe to the channel, and like I said, if you have comments, just go ahead and ask, and we'll be glad to answer any questions. And so thanks guys. You guys have a great day.